I stand inspired to raise two issues, I suppose. First of all, in Cork this morning, we're in the middle of a recount. 750,000 ballot papers have been counted at an election. The election was
race home.
Indeed, but you're looking at a scenario that it's nearly a week since these people have actually cast their ballots. It's a week since actually the general public went out and actually voted. We're now in a scenario that we're still looking, and it's going to be probably the weekend before we're going to have a result. Do we need to look at something here? We've talked about electoral commission. We've talked about having a look at how we're going to deal with it. Like, to give you an example of the figures involved here, 750,000 ballot papers, and the ballot papers are over 2 feet long. We're also looking at something like nearly 40,000 spoiled ballot papers. There has to be a better system than people going to the polls and spoiling or unfortunately spoiling the ballot papers indeed. And there's a huge issue about how this actual process works. And actually the staff themselves. There's 240 staff there going to be there for 7 days counting votes. It is a system and something that we need to look at. What I'd say here is we need to have an electoral commission set up. We need to examine it, talk about it, and let's have a debate. It's been 20 years since we talked about e-voting. Let's have this debate again. Let's have a debate about how you could have a system. I'm not saying it could be e-voting, it could be another system. But let's have a debate about this referendum. But I also want to raise the issue, Chairman, if I could, regarding the actual plebiscites. We had a plebiscite in 3 cities in the last week. Two failed, 1 passed. I do think we have to look at the actual results of the plebiscite, and in particular I'm going to talk about the Cork scenario, and if I could, I'll ask your indulgence for a little bit of time. The Cork scenario is very unusual. We asked for a plebiscite for the people of Cork regarding the Lord Mayor, but when we extended the boundary, we never asked for that plebiscite. We never asked the people for their view. We did it. So where's the contradiction in this? There is a view that the executive could extend the boundary by law, but then when it suited them, they could ask the people for their view on the mayoralty itself. And I think that is a failing in the system itself. You look at where Limerick is today, and I want to congratulate Limerick for what they've done. What they've managed to do is they've had one local authority, city and county put together, to give them a real voice. They have population density now, they have a mass, they have a real voice, and now they're moving into a new space about a directly elected mayor. They have moved light years ahead of Cork and Waterford because they have that potential to work together. I never saw the logic, and I always said this, of having 2 local authorities in one jurisdiction in one county. We at the moment now have an extension to a boundary that nobody voted on because it's considered appropriate by law. And when we wanted the mayoralty, we had to vote on it, and people said, you didn't ask me for my vote previously when it came to extending the boundary, so why are you asking me now? We need to have a complete look at local government, how we work it, how we fund it. The reason the vote failed in Cork is because people thought it was going to be too expensive. If they went for a merger, we would have one county manager, one executive and less councillors, and you'll probably have less expense and everyone working together. I think we really have to look at what we're doing in local government. Limerick needs to be congratulated, but when it came to the big decision about extending the boundary, we moved away from asking the people. We did that here in this House, but the people should have been asked. The plebiscite shouldn't have been about mayoralty, it should have been about one local authority. And because we asked the wrong question, we got the wrong decision.